Well, it is none other than Nova Online, aka Gabriel Gage. Viewers are calling for this guy to be cancelled and banned. He has haters more than viewers. Nova Online is one of the most hated influencers on the internet today. Now, a lot of you might be familiar with his ugly and messy food review videos, but in case you haven't come across this face yet,
trying the most expensive gyro I've ever bought.
Nova is also famous as a loa cow of the internet world, often seen eating massive amounts of food on his social media. But it's not just about eating large amounts of food anymore, it's about putting on a disturbing show, no matter how embarrassing it gets. Nova is a control freak who can't handle the attention he gets online. His interaction with minors on Discord says a lot about his dangerous personality. Had a brief conversation with Nova's underage friend. They knew Nova for the last 3 years while they were 14 to 17. Nova is still talking to But was Nova always like this? How was he exactly like before we all knew of him as a loa cow? Where did he start from? Let's dive into that. Nova Online's real name is Gabriel Gage. He began his career by making YouTube videos where he played video games like Fortnite. Like every other gamer and gaming enthusiast, Nova jumped into the platform without hesitation, streaming his gameplay online. Though his gaming content was arguably among the weakest out there, he stuck to the category for a while, but the views never gained enough momentum to boost his career. His outdated gaming techniques, subpar equipment, and lackluster presentation couldn't hold an audience. Before it could even take off, the whole thing came crashing down. Incomplete knowledge of gaming styles, failure to showcase updated versions, dull commentary, and many other shortcomings all played a part in Nova's downfall in the gaming scene. In the end, Nova wasn't remembered for his skills, but for how spectacularly his failure played out. All he had to do was mimic a few trendy moves, acting to some famous stuff, vlogging his life in chunks.
Hey YouTube, so I'm still testing the waters on what to post here, because let's be honest, I want to build a more respectable fan base here.
And even putting out a karaoke bash on his channel. Unfortunately, nothing really worked for him. And let's call it his bad luck, misfortune, his camera quality, his untidiness, or even, just maybe even his greasy hair. A few thousands of views took him nowhere in the YouTube world, so his subscriber count stayed limited to people who found a glimpse of his video interesting and hit the subscribe button. Later, most of them ended up unsubscribing. But then came the day Nova Online dove into the world of TikTok. Back then, and even now, it was the flashy, fast-paced hub where creators could rake in massive views with the shortest clips. With attention spans shrinking and the rise in ADHD fueling the platform's explosive viewership, TikTok was a golden opportunity Nova wasn't about to pass up. He wasted no time diving in, figuring out how the platform ticked, what trends were taking over, and why everyone seemed hooked. Naturally, he jumped on every trend, mimicking whatever was working for everyone else. Surprisingly, his very first video racked up a couple thousand views, and voila, he thought he had struck gold. First ever video where he is literally doing nothing but just moving around, and voila! It hit more than 10,000 plus views and around 50 comments. He loved the interaction that was happening on TikTok. From that point on, there was no looking back. Now, hitting a few thousand views on TikTok isn't exactly groundbreaking. Almost every other TikToker stumbles upon that kind of reach with a random video. For example, this random video which hit more than 698,000 plus views.
Hey you, yes, you watching the video. Welcome to Novine Week. Not sure what that is? Well, it is the course over a week where I post over minute-long videos to test and try out something new, because I'm sick of making under a minute-long videos because of the attention span of this app.
But something started to shift. While at first people casually scrolled past Nova's videos when they appeared on their feed, now a handful of viewers were actually stopping to drop comments. The problem? Those comments weren't praise. They were something that a creator would never want to read. They looked something like this. People writing, "Shut the f*** up. Okay, but can you clean the machines when you are done?" Or this one, "Bro, shut up!" It wasn't fame that found him first, it was mockery, and it was just the beginning. Yeah, that looks really bad for a starter. There were a few comments that lifted the engagement rate very well. Who is commenting and boosting Nova's confidence anyways? And it's none other than Nova himself. When you search and land on this account, it looks like a complete fake, almost bot-like. That's because it is. Turns out Nova wasn't just focused on creating content for his main channel. He had another full-time task: logging into fake accounts and liking or commenting on his own videos to make it look like people actually cared. It's deceptive, unethical, and depending on the platform's rules, downright illegal. This account, for example, has only one video posted, and that too of Nova. There are no other videos and no appropriate profile picture. But hey, if the real audience wasn't having fun, why not create an illusion of fans who were? That's what Nova seemed to believe. A few bots here and there, a few fake comments, and boom, instant clout. For him, it wasn't about earning attention. It was about manufacturing it. Another thing people hated about Nova other than his greasy hair, in his initial phase, was his way of eating food.
Cajun seasoned fries, mango habanero wings, Dr. Pepper, garlic parmesan tenders.
As you see, he just ate and ate and ate all the time. Devoured the food with his hair open, where he gave some very common reviews, which were so much similar to what other people were doing at that time. The reactions, the short noises while eating, the hand gestures, and even the compliments to the food were very same. Nothing extraordinary. But the comments under these videos were funny too. It read something like this: "Bro can turn the air fryer on with his eyes closed if he wanted." And here's another one questioning his efforts in these videos, saying, "Effort level given ever 1. And some other funny ones: "The unibrow is going hard, bro." The chew technique is on point. "How are you out of breath by eating?" Now, there were two major things that people noticed in all his videos. The first one is very sure the way he keeps his room. People were so mad and frustrated looking at his background in the room overall that they no longer left a comment on his way of eating. They just straightway went in the comment box and smashed him for his untidiness. Of course, nobody likes to watch a dirty room while they have come to your feed to watch your review of a food item. But it is what it is. And it is Nova, after all. Here's a video of him where he reviewed Gordon Ramsay's foods, but the way he heated them in his dirtiest microwave in the world. It made the whole video look uglier.
Gordon Ramsay's beef Wellington bites. I know it's dirty.
Hey, that isn't the right place for the legendary Gordon Ramsay's food to be heated in. And the comments under this video looked and sounded the most sarcastic ones. This one read, "What product do you use to keep the air fryer so clean?" With so many question marks and exclamation marks to emote the sarcasm so well. The comment was so cool that it ended up getting around 150 likes. And then come these ones. "That's the cleanest appliance I've seen in your house?" He had to get fancy for them Gordon Ramsay bites. "Ongdo, I don't want to see the bathroom." And the winner of the competition is? "You should start a new series and clean my house room by room," which has around 1,500 plus likes on it. People are too funny when they are more creative than the creator himself. And the second most important thing to mention about his food review videos, money. Yes, money. To give you a quick glimpse into Nova's financial condition, he isn't someone who earns much from either YouTube or TikTok. In fact, he doesn't seem to have any other job on the side. He's just a 20-year-old adult who spends a ridiculous amount on junk food, sits inside his house, and eats it all in front of a camera. A 20-year-old earning nothing but racking up massive expenses? That's more than just concerning, it's unsustainable. For a while, his parents were footing the bill, but from what we've heard, they've finally started asking for rent. They've started telling him to get a job, like every other 20-year-old is expected to. And honestly, can you even blame them? It's not like Nova hasn't tried. He has applied for jobs everywhere from grocery stores to restaurants, pretty much every place his city has to offer. He's knocked on every door, but somehow he still hasn't landed a single stable job that could actually help him survive. The question now isn't just how long can he keep making content. It's how long can he keep pretending this is a sustainable lifestyle? Because when your clout is fake, your content is mocked, and your bank account is empty, what's really left? And whenever Nova had a job by any chance, it would turn out to be somewhat like this.
18 plus fans. So, I think I may have scored myself a new job, finally. I just had an interview today. It went super, super well. And so well that the manager asked for my phone number, my personal one, and yeah, I think I've got a good choice at it, y'all. This is unbelievable. After 5 months in the gutter, finally, your boy's becoming employed again. Finally.
Yeah, creepy. Very creepy. And here is Nova crying, or let's say complaining about not getting a job.
Okay, I am sick and tired of these comments showing up on every single video I post when I am actively looking for a job, but nobody wants to hire me. So, I've had it. I'm going to show you proof that I'm actually applying for jobs. First up, bakery assistant. They viewed my application, never heard back.
Isn't it very much self-explanatory to you, Nova Boy? I mean, looking at your kitchen, nobody would love to have you at a bakery in their life.
Also, cook at a Mexican restaurant. Applied. They probably hit delete on my application before they even viewed it.
It is so funny the way he is explaining why the company or the restaurants aren't hiring him. Like, bruh, go run to your house and take a look at it. It is messy, dirty, and ugly in every corner. Why would people want you if they have already watched your management skills in your videos?
Next up, line cook at a local bar. They viewed my application, yet I haven't heard back. Hotel housekeeper at a local hotel. They never viewed my application.
Housekeeping, literally. Nova's audacity to post videos with that background and then applying for the post of housekeeper is the peak of stupidity. Housekeeping in his terms is more like gatekeeping the trash. No! Nobody is allowed to touch the trash. It is going to lay there for the rest of its life till it decomposes there.
Even Taco Bell hasn't even gotten back to me yet. And as you can see, these were all applied for within the last week. So stop with the get a job comments, because I'm actively working on it.
And that is Nova's answer to everyone who trolls him for not having a job. Nobody hires me. But let's be real. Any random guy or girl can usually get a basic job at a restaurant. And if not that, at least at a local grocery store where no degree or special qualification is required. That is how most young people earn their way through life. That is how they survive, pay their bills, and save up for their dreams. There are countless creators who hustle. They work jobs they do not love, stand on their feet for hours, and still make time to create content until their passion pays off. They do not wait for a miracle. They work for it. Nova, on the other hand, has not managed to secure even one stable job. And if he ever mentioned his food review videos during an interview, maybe his excuse of "nobody hires me" would start to make a little more sense. Because the truth is, no employer wants to see a potential hire spending his days binging on junk food in front of a camera, slurring through half-baked reviews, while asking strangers on the internet to take him seriously. At some point, the question shifts from why isn't he being hired to why would anyone hire him in the first place? And here's people's reaction. Nova online as a housekeeper. People are hilarious. Well, that isn't it. It is an unending mess of laughter. Here's a TikTok video posted by Nova where he is dancing with zero expressions on his face for getting a job. Too much excitement in a frame. Funny isn't just the video or his expressionless face. The funniest thing is this comment. Imagine you've worked there for like a year and all your OG coworkers quit for whatever reason, and your boss tells you he's hiring someone new. Then Nova walks in, chills, and here are 15.6 thousand more people participating in the laughter wave. People were so shocked for him finally having a job that some of them started self-doubting. They started thinking that if a guy like Nova gets a job, then we are of similar or nearly zero caliber as Nova. Though people did not like his videos that much, people neither had an issue with him. Nobody thought of him as this harmful guy or a creator who needed to be canceled. All fun and games. Until one day, Nova started singing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" for a toy and called that toy a 14-year-old girl. Yes? And it looked weird and terrifying. Basically, it looked and sounded like this.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder where you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
And people under the comment box had these reactions. This is probably one of the top 5 scariest audio recordings of all time. And some people even said that listening to this makes my skin crawl. It makes me feel so uneasy, man. How is he not in jail or prison? And a few of them literally started making other TikTok videos related to Nova.
Nova Online. Here's your emotional support, Lamb. You might want to protect him from Nova, too, by the way. So take him for emotional support and protection.
It wasn't similar or normal like his other videos, which sounded somewhat like this. Yes, it was ear-bleeding experience, but it still did not affect our mental health, unlike the Twinkle Twinkle tune. And the videos he made later turned out to be creepier and creepier. This way, the wave of Nova and his cringy content was spread all over the internet, and people started digging into everything he had done in the past. and that's where people found his creepy and weird interactions with minors. And then people started being offended with every single thing that he tried to do online. Like this guy on Reddit said, "I can't tell if he's a troll or serious," kinda because he looks the part. The videos seem so ridiculous, though, that there's almost no way it can be a troll. But I've also heard stuff about him being a PDF, so that could mean it's all for real. And here is a Sunlight Tea, sharing her early experience with Nova aka Gabriel Gage on her Twitter account, which blew everybody's mind. She writes, "Every once in a while, I remember I went to middle school with Nova, aka the Novine Universe, and let me tell you, well, I got some horror stories." She continues telling the story. "In middle school, Nova and I were in choir together. He and I had multiple classes together too, all the way up until high school. I didn't want to be around him. He made me uncomfortable, but everyone told me I was being dramatic. He made awkward comments towards all of the girls in our classes. Things like commenting on our bodies, rating us on looks, and talking about his crushes he had on every girl he talked to. People told me it wasn't a big deal. When I reported it, teachers told me he was autistic and couldn't control his behavior, so it never stopped. People condoned his behavior, hell, even cheered it on. One day, in choir, he sang a song in class that was explicit and dedicated it to me. He acted the same way in youth group as well. His behavior was never taken seriously. If you ask me, his relationship with the 14-year-old is partially to blame on those who refuse to do anything about it." And she concluded the story with, "If you support him, DNI with me. He put me through trauma that was disregarded by my teachers and counselors, and his behavior still affects me to this day." Now this is the real story. A story where a 12-year-old girl was mentally and emotionally by Nova. On social media, Nova acts like an immature, clueless clown, but what he does in real life is far from harmless, and honestly, it is terrifying. A girl named Cece came forward and shared her story online. She spoke about the mental trauma she endured, the discomfort, and the way Nova made her feel unsafe at such a young age. For someone like her to step up, knowing Nova already has a following and internet fame, takes incredible courage. The journey from being silently creeped out to publicly calling him out is not an easy one. It takes strength. It takes clarity. And most of all, it takes the kind of bravery that deserves to be heard and respected. Because when the mask of internet humor slips, what is left behind can be disturbing. And Sissy's story is a living proof of that. There are also proofs of people claiming that Nova is struggling through some massive mental health issues, where he thinks of himself as a kid and asks people to change his diapers. Like this.
"I'm very excited for my next session. He's gonna change my diaper."
But there are also, on the other hand, people who are blaming Nova for having inappropriate interactions with minors on Discords, claiming that he is a borderline pedophile himself.
"I thought Nova Online was just a harmless lolcow that got made fun of because of his wacky antics on the internet. I was so wrong. I dived into a little bit of his history and went deeper down his rabbit hole, and this dude is a borderline and
So yes, what do you think he is? A pedophile or a mentally ill person who thinks of him as a child? Well, either way, nothing sounds really good for the ears. First of all, he is a creator. And the number of views that he has been getting recently is in the millions. If we specifically check for a number on his TikTok page, it literally says 10 million likes, which honestly is huge. He has got some 279.8 thousand followers on the page where he eats, flirts, and shows off his dirty house in the background. Oh wait, a page where he has bluntly written in his bio, "Do not DM," in big bold letters. So let me get this straight. You are saying you are jobless, unemployed, have no work, and are desperately looking for opportunities. You also claim that you have been applying to every possible place, showing up for interviews, and still ending up with nothing. Not even one placement, not a single job. Here is why. If you are writing "do not DM" in your bio, how is anyone supposed to approach you? There's absolutely no chance for collaborations, partnerships, paid promotions, or brand deals, which only proves one thing: you have zero understanding of how to build a personal brand, let alone a career. Instead, all you care about is lying on your bed with a bag of junk food, filming yourself eat, and then whining about not getting work. It is absurd. Completely absurd. There are people out there struggling to make ends meet, trying to help their families, paying their bills, and fighting to survive. And then there is Nova, shamelessly doing the bare minimum, raking in millions of views, and still playing the victim. And to make things worse, there are people in his comment section defending him, saying, "Why is everyone mad at him? He is just doing his work. everyone needs to chill and have fun. It does not work like that. A person who is truly passionate about their work takes ownership. They take responsibility and hold themselves accountable for the content they put out. When you're getting millions of eyeballs on you, you are no longer just another user on the internet. You have a responsibility. You owe it to your audience to make thoughtful and sensible decisions. But then again, it is Nova we are talking about. He calls himself an influencer, but is he really one? Because if he is not influencing the next generation. He is damaging it. He is not a content creator. He is a cautionary tale. There are people on Reddit who found out Nova asking the caregivers to change his diapers on the platform, which leaves everyone scared and creeped out. And yet, another one leaving you with goosebumps. A creepy post on Reddit reads, "I don't want to stop regressing. Does anyone have any tips to maybe trigger myself back into regressing often?" To which Nova has responded with, "Just remember, you are never too old for any kid stuff." Now here's a Reddit post which says a lot. This outfit is weirder than all his YouTube and TikTok channels combined. Here we can literally see Nova having the time of his life, FaceTiming someone in that bizarre outfit. These pictures give off a vibe that makes it look like he is role-playing as someone's mother. Out of all the fantasies out there, this one really crosses a line. It is not just odd, it is deeply uncomfortable and disturbing. And the worst part? He is not even trying to be discreet about it. He is proudly putting it out for the world to see, as if this is normal, as if this is content. And here's another picture of Nova doing more weirdo stuff. This picture, god damn it, it is genuinely scary. Imagine following someone for what you think is lighthearted or funny content, and then stumbling across this on a different platform. Suddenly you start questioning your own taste. You would unfollow him in an instant, and even worse, you would feel nothing but discomfort when he randomly appears on your feed again. Just imagine that. It feels like a bait and switch. You sign up for comedy, and instead, you get this mess of bizarre fantasies and disturbing behaviors shoved in your face. Here, Novine Universe has posted a picture with the caption, "Had to show my melatonin patch too to show you I put it on like a good baby." Like a good baby? Really? Who are you even trying to be? A fully grown adult with absolutely no desire to improve your life, your career, or even contribute anything meaningful to your parents. Just lying there in a dirty room with that filthy face, and doing nothing but posting creepy, uncomfortable content on social media. And to top it off, begging people to change your diaper? This is not quirky. This is not edgy. This is just plain disturbing. And here's a screenshot of Nova's post that reads, "The Patsy started to make my mouth sore." There's a point where it stops being shocking and just starts becoming sad. And this one is a screenshot of his chat with someone who clearly shares a similar mindset. The messages read, "Will you be mad if my mouth tape or cute sleepy patch falls off in my sleep?" To which the person replies, "I won't, I promise, unless you take it off yourself." Then Nova says, "I want to be a good baby, so I will leave them on. I don't want to be punished." The person doesn't respond, but Nova, clearly restless, types again, "Are you still awake?" And baby can't sleep. Here, ladies and gentlemen, our dear Nova is referring to himself as a baby. A baby. Let that sink in. It is not just cringeworthy, it is disturbing on so many levels. Some might brush this off as a fantasy. Others might see it as a mental health issue. And this behavior could be rooted in past trauma, or a childhood that lacked love and attention. But when that unresolved trauma turns into content, when that private dysfunction becomes public identity, there is a serious problem. This is not just a matter of taste. This is about accountability. Because when thousands of people are watching, you do not get to hide behind the excuse of just being yourself. You are influencing people, especially the young ones. And what you put out there has consequences. What exactly is going on here? Let's dive deeper and uncover what this all really says about Nova and about the kind of content we have started normalizing. And the comments under this post read, "I am physically repulsed." Just so repulsive. What the f? So we can clearly see people are disgusted, and people are so repulsive that they don't even want to talk about it or elaborate on it. They just say they don't want to see Nova's face again. And here's baby Nova's collection of the mouth tapes. This post's caption says, "I knew he was hiding something. He gets over baby pacifiers and children. Someone lock him up." Here's another Reddit post where we can hear Nova talking to his mother about his uncle, and how terrified he is of him. In the audio, Nova says his uncle is calling him a and blaming him for leaking his phone number on TikTok. Nova insists he hasn't done it, but he sounds genuinely scared. He tells his mother that he is shaking with fear, that he feels sick to his stomach, and that he does not know how to deal with the situation.
Andy just texted me again. His phone number got leaked, and now he's blaming. I'm shaking. He's gonna give me to do. I'm scared.
While his mother tries to calm him down and reason with him, Nova keeps repeating that he is terrified. He uses words like scared and describes himself as physically trembling. If we connect this moment to what we have seen of Nova in the past, the way he behaves like a baby online, and how in some of his chats he had asked someone if they would be mad at him for taking off his mouth tape in his sleep, this could be rooted in something much deeper. What if this isn't just a performance? What if this is unresolved trauma? It is entirely possible that this fear of punishment, this childlike helplessness, stems from something that happened during his childhood. Perhaps his uncle did more than just yell. Perhaps those fears were planted long ago. Maybe it is all a build-up in his head. But maybe, just maybe, these scenes we see today, the fantasy roleplay, the anxiety, the regression, are connected to very real and very dark memories from his past. And if that is the case, it does not excuse his current actions, but it might explain where they come from. So the question becomes, is Nova simply craving attention, or is he crying out for help in the only way he knows how? Yet another video of him being scared and crying a lot after he gets to know that someone has shared some of his video to his uncle. He is so pissed off and raging with anger, he ends up telling people not to do so.
To whoever the F sent that video to my uncle, you should be ashamed of yourself. I literally just got through a mental breakdown, bawling my eyes out because of you. I hate to post this, but this needs to be addressed. To whoever sent that, F you! To all the real fans, I love you so much with all my heart. Jesus loves you too. But to the one that sent my uncle that video, you've got a problem. And we need to talk.
While some people still choose to give him the benefit of the doubt, his behavior, both in his content and online presence, has become too unsettling to ignore. What once seemed like harmless, quirky posts have now evolved into something far more disturbing. People have slowly started viewing Nova through a more serious and concerned lens. His content journey began with gaming on YouTube, but when that didn't take off, he quickly shifted to TikTok. From the beginning, Nova always had a sense of what could sell. He was hyper-aware of what worked on the internet and what didn't. He knew he wasn't performing well in the gaming world. The YouTube space was already saturated with talented creators who had built massive followings through their skills, strategies, and consistency. Kids his age had already mastered the streaming game, but not Nova. He was still far behind and lagging a lot. His TikTok journey, however, started with a spark. His first few videos earned a few thousand views. It looked promising, but staying relevant proved to be harder than it seemed. Nova desperately tried to follow every trend, whether it was dancing to viral songs, mimicking fashion styles, copying popular slang, or simply mimicking what everyone else was doing. But even then, something was always off. His content felt forced. His presence felt out of place. People began trolling him not just for his awkwardness or cringe-worthy videos, but for how he looked, how he acted, how he carried himself. He was soon labeled a lolcow, a public figure people mock for laughs. And yet, Nova never fired back. He took the criticism, accepted the trolling, and claimed he wanted to work on himself. He made it clear that he was going to do something about it. But here's the thing, he never actually did. He portrayed the image of someone trying to improve. But in reality, there was no progress. It was all for show. Take exercise, for example. Viewers called him lazy. Some even referred to him as a couch potato. Many recommended he hit the gym and start taking his health seriously. Nova listened. He even posted content suggesting he had started working out. But what it turned into was something like this. And people are falling with laughter. They're calling it a hilarious workout. Because honestly, Nova here is barely doing anything to be called a workout session. His expressions just scream his lack of interest in the gym and the environment there. Looks like he is doing it just for the sake of getting a few more views and comments. And this is people's reactions in the comment box. 10 reps of goofing around, and That is literally the worst way to work out your lats. Of course, he doesn't give a damn about the workout. He just cares to be recorded in his camera, and that is it. Here's another video where Nova gets scolded for talking in a high tone at the gym.
Decreasing 100 pounds. Excuse me? Could you clean up your language, please?
So his behavior at the gym is also very inappropriate. This shows the overall behavior and personality of Nova, which is filled with anxiety and insecurity. Insecurity regarding his body, his content, his choices, and overall his life. This takes us back to where it started from. His attraction towards children and being a child. The delusional world where he loves to live for his life. The issue is so big that people have started creating videos that resonate with this whole Nova and minors situation.
Oh. Am I attracted to this? No. Am I? No.
There are people who have done a full research on how Nova Online is following some random 14-year-olds on the social media pages and is having chats with them.
Nova Online following a random 14-year-old artist, plus some of Nova's Roblox medals.
Though these videos are funny and give you a good minute of laughter, the issue is very serious and to be investigated properly by the police. There are people saying that it is the trolls who are doing it, but here's Nova coming out in anger and firing it in this video.
I'm never making another Discord server again. This is the fourth my life, everything. I'm done.
Here's another video of him where he is telling people that TikTok banned his stream. And that was the time Nova didn't know what to do. TikTok banned his stream for harassment and bullying. And that sounds like a step towards a better future. Coming back to his disturbing attraction towards diapers, here is another video where Nova's mother can be seen scolding him over the same.
What?
Are they sending my mom?
This was all recorded during one of Nova's live streams. For many people, this clip removed all confusion about whether Nova was genuinely into this kind of stuff or just trolling. The video gave clear insight into his choices and behavior. In the video, his mother is clearly heard shouting at him for ordering diapers, for wearing them, and for making a public mockery of himself online. Her tone reflects frustration and disbelief, but also a shocking level of detachment. And honestly, this is where we need to look at the bigger picture. Nova's mother, as a responsible parent, should have had a much tighter grip on what her son was doing, especially when he's actively influencing others online with extremely questionable behavior. His bizarre content isn't just cringeworthy, it's also a bad influence. And the fact that he's been caught interacting with minors on platforms like Discord raises even more red flags. This isn't just about one person's fantasies anymore. This is also about bad parenting. Turning a blind eye to your child's online presence, especially when that child is spiraling into unsafe and inappropriate behavior, is not just negligent, it's dangerous. Parents should be the first line of awareness and accountability. In the Nova's case, that line appears to be broken. Also, his language while talking to his mother is extremely bad. It is inappropriate and unacceptable. Nova's Facebook account was discovered following a page tied to an online age regression community, often described as caregivers and littles. This subculture involves adults who adopt childlike roles or behaviors in certain relationships, where one person takes on a caregiver dynamic and the other leans into a younger persona. While it has its own niche following, it's widely regarded as controversial because of the way it blurs emotional and role-playing boundaries. This is not just niche internet behavior. It's deeply concerning when combined with Nova's history and pattern of interactions, especially involving minors. Being attracted to such communities while having a track record of disturbing behavior raises serious red flags. One of the YouTube creators who's been meticulously tracking Nova's online activity is Smokey MCC. Alongside Kiwi Tapes, Smokey has documented Nova's patterns, red flags, and questionable moves on their respective channels. They've even hosted live discussions dissecting Nova's behavior and impact. Nova, unsurprisingly, didn't take this well. He lashed out during one of the streams with the message, "Screw you, Smokey," visibly agitated by the exposure. He also slipped into the live chat, where viewers were mocking him and angrily responded with things like, "Piss off." This defensive and hostile behavior only further confirms his inability to take responsibility. Instead of reflecting or explaining himself, he's lashing out at people, calling out his disturbing actions that are no longer a private fantasies but part of a very public and problematic pattern. Nova had also sent an email to Smokey in regards to the Facebook discovery. He wrote, "You're asking for a lawsuit, Smokey. I don't even check FB that often, and I log on like once every 6 months. So why don't you duck off and stop pulling shit out of your ducking ass? Everything that Nova is up to these days is shady, creepy, and scary. For example, there's a video where Nova was literally playing with knives. Now, if any other person did that, people might have brushed it off as a joke or edgy content. But when it comes to Nova Online, the context shifts drastically. It's no longer just a quirky act, it becomes a possible red flag. His image is already so deeply associated with uncomfortable, questionable behavior that even the smallest actions are now viewed through a lens of suspicion. People can't trust him blindly. In fact, they can't even trust him with open eyes. And that's the core problem with Nova's content and him as a creator. He has lost the benefit of the doubt. The way people consume social media content today is intense and deeply personal. Someone finds a video of yours while scrolling, gets intrigued, and then dives headfirst into your digital world. They binge watch your videos, explore your stories, and scroll through every post and comment. Slowly, they begin to feel like they know you. They grow curious about your lifestyle, your morning routine, your night rituals, the food you eat, where you shop, how you speak, and how you live. You stop being just a creator, you become a character in their daily lives. But it doesn't stop there. People want to know your stance on everything, whether it's pop culture, social justice, politics, or personal values. And even when you try to stay neutral, silence speaks volumes. Audiences expect creators to reflect, to analyze, and to influence. And if you're not aware of that power, you can very quickly go from being loved to being loathed. That's the fundamental difference between traditional celebrities and modern-day influencers. Movie stars are surrounded by layers, agents, managers, and PR handlers. But influencers? They're raw, unfiltered, and accessible. Their content is real-time. Their stories go out every hour, their thoughts are tweeted instantly, and that constant accessibility makes them constantly accountable. There is no hiding, so when someone like Nova displays irresponsible, erratic, or disturbing behavior, it doesn't take long for the public to notice, dissect, and react. People once laughed at him, called him a lolco, mocked his looks and mannerisms, but now the tone has changed. Now he's being labeled a potential threat, a danger. But if we look past the memes and the mockery, there's something even more concerning beneath the surface. Nova is clearly someone who is mentally unwell. His content, his hygiene, his body language, and the way he speaks, everything suggests that this is someone crying for help in the loudest, most uncomfortable way possible. What's even worse is that he's doing all of this while being heavily active, on platforms filled with young, impressionable users. Instead of getting therapy, support, or structure, he's getting attention that might be enabling his delusions or worsening his state. And this isn't just about Nova anymore, it's about the larger problem of digital neglect, where people with serious mental and emotional issues are being pushed further into the spotlight for clicks, likes, and engagement instead of being pulled out and helped. Nova is not just a cautionary tale about content creation gone wrong. He's a case study on what happens when internet fame meets unresolved trauma and unchecked behavior. If no one steps in, whether it's his family or the platforms he's on or professionals, this is only going to escalate. And by the time it all explodes, it might be too late. People have already started taking the matter to bigger platforms. While some influencers are dangerous to others, there are also creators who are victims of truly horrifying abuse, and their stories deserve just as much attention. One such case is that of Lo the Goat, whose situation on social media shook people to their core. Her truth wasn't just disturbing, it was unthinkable. The internet stood still when she revealed that her own father wanted to marry her. It was one of the most bizarre and heartbreaking revelations to ever surface online. Lotha bravely came forward with her childhood trauma, and from that moment, the world couldn't look away. People were consumed by her story, not out of mere curiosity, but because it exposed one of the darkest truths that still plague society. Abuse within families, and more disturbingly from a parent. Her father, the man who should have protected her, instead became the source of her deepest trauma. He betrayed her trust, subjecting her to years of emotional damage and control. At one point, he even shaved her head and exposed her to substances, further tightening his grip on her life. And years later, long after she had built a relationship of her own, he resurfaced with the disturbing intention of forcing himself back into her world under the guise of marriage. Yes, it sounds like something out of a nightmare, but unfortunately, this is a reality that too many girls and women live with every day. Lothe's story is not an isolated incident. It is a horrifying example of how predators can exist within families, disguised as guardians, manipulating their victims under the illusion of love. What makes it even worse is the psychological war victims like Lothe are forced to endure. Imagine trying to build a life, a career, a relationship, while carrying a past that keeps dragging you back into trauma. Sharing that pain publicly is not just brave, it's necessary. It sheds light on the silent epidemic of familial, and it holds up a mirror to the systems and societies that allow such horrors to remain hidden. Lothe's courage to speak out is a reminder that social media is more than just filters and trends. It's also a powerful platform for truth, justice, and healing. Her voice, raw and unfiltered, has inspired thousands to come forward with their own stories, to seek help, and to know they are not alone. Because the more we talk about these things, the more predators of their power, and that is the beginning of change. And the fear of Nova becoming the one like her father when he grows up will be again a traumatic story for a lot of young girls to tell about Nova. Let's not make that happen by following people like Nova at first. And if we really are concerned, we should definitely report such people and ask the authorities to investigate and take legal actions. Also, the medical help could also bring a big change. Let's hop on the cameos now. People were also not happy with Nova's cameos, and things got even worse when he started questioning those who gave his cameos a 1-star rating. Here's one of the videos that really blew up.
What's going on, Allie? It's Nova Kadri, and I wanted to wish you a very happy 18th birthday, and I hope you have had her having an amazing one so far. Also, I heard you like Leslie and Tofia. A little thing about them, they're both, and it's been proven, so yeah, maybe don't interact with their content, just a little FYI. But hey, anyways, thank you for being a fan despite everything I'm going through in life. It truly means a lot, and I do appreciate it.
A man who has allegedly spent years hiding behind Discord servers, teasing, manipulating, and exploiting vulnerable teens, both in school and online, now wants to present himself as some kind of protector. It's not just ironic, it's disturbing. Someone who has repeatedly been accused of crossing boundaries with young girls is out here warning others against so-called predators. It's like the pot calling the kettle black, but far darker and more dangerous. He should honestly consider trading a few kilos for some functioning brain cells, because right now, his behavior is screaming denial and deflection. Well, let's see what people had to say about this. The comments under this video speak volumes. Raw, real, and brutally honest reactions from viewers who are tired of his manipulative antics. The very first comment over here reads, "Lamau the way Nova stares off into space as he talks about them," almost as if he knows people are going to bring up what he's done, but he won't restart the video because he loves attention. Like, really? People are not stupid. They have eyes and ears. They can see what you are doing. Max ridiculousness, to be honest. There are several celebrities out there who've become the internet's laughingstock for their chaotic and desperate cameos, and Nikki Blonsky is definitely one of them. Known primarily for her role in the movie Hairspray, Nikki has spent more time in the headlines for controversies than for any actual work. From a supermodel mid-flight to physically fighting at the airport with her own family, Blonsky's name has been dragged all over social media for all the wrong reasons. Things got so out of hand that the supermodel's mother ended up with a facial fracture and had to be airlifted from the airport. And as expected, the industry slowly shut its doors on her. Work dried up, roles stopped coming in, and when nothing else worked, she turned to cameos. But even then, her chaos followed her. She began sending out bizarre videos, singing songs from Hairspray to random people who hadn't even asked for it. She was seen sliding into DMs, clinging to the only thing she had left: attention. In one of her infamous cameos, she literally sang while sitting on the toilet. If that doesn't scream desperation, what does? It was pure narcissism masked as fan service, a sad reflection of someone terrified of becoming irrelevant in a crowd full of actually deserving talent. And honestly, Nova Online isn't much different. After all the mess he caused behind the scenes, he too took shelter in cameos. But just like Blonsky, he failed to impress. People openly begged him to stop. The response was so bad that users left him with just 1-star ratings across the platform. That's not hate. That's rejection disguised as feedback. Cameos, in essence, is a platform meant to bring influencers, celebrities, and their audiences closer. It's supposed to be a space for genuine interaction and connection. But unfortunately, people like Nikki and Nova have turned it into yet another stage for their self-obsessed performances. Instead of building meaningful connections, they're out there embarrassing themselves for attention they no longer deserve. Here's Nova and Zuno Online sharing another cameo to his audience.
Hey Cameron, get off Siege. Go celebrate your birthday today, and maybe take a shower. 100 days without a shower is wild. And please use deodorant. And congrats on the engagement with Isaiah, and I'm wishing you both a magical My Little Pony wedding and a happy life. Thank you for being fans, but please take a shower. Nova Universe, I'm signing off.
Please take a shower? Oh, the irony. Look who's talking. How does Nova even come up with such so-called words of wisdom in his cameos, especially when they directly contradict his own behavior and lifestyle? It's laughable. Preaching things he doesn't practice is not just hypocritical, it's downright unfair to the people who actually pay for these videos. He might think it's working, but the reality lies in the comments section, where people are literally laughing at him. These well wishes and random advice clips have become a joke, because they're coming from someone who barely lives up to any of it. First it was the pedophile allegations, and now it's the shower lectures. Incredible. The audacity is truly unmatched. Trevor in his comment box says, "Little hypocritical, not going to lie." And this comment, my friends, is liked by 11.2 thousand plus people. So those many people think that Nova should actually really stop and watch himself out now, because frankly, it's the time now. And then there is this cameo where he is wishing a very happy Father's Day to his fan's father.
Hey Mike, it's Nova Kadri, and first off, I just wanted to wish you a very happy Father's Day. I wanted to know that your kids appreciate you for everything that you do, and I hope you have had or having an amazing Father's Day so far.
The audacity to wish a Father's Day while you are using the emotions of the minors on the internet is crazy and going out of hands. And this is what his audience had to say about this cameo. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. It is echoing in our ears since we listened to his wish, isn't it? And if you know, you know now. Nova isn't all baby all the time, by the way. This not-so-little man-child has got a lot of anger issues. God damn it! What's even more shocking is how Nova so bluntly bursts out during his live videos. No filter, no sense of decency. Just raw aggression. His behavior constantly leaves viewers stunned. He casually throws curse words around like they're part of normal speech, and what's worse, he does it in front of his own mother. That says a lot. Sure, some may point fingers at parenting, but let's be real. Nova isn't a child anymore, he's an adult. And adults should be held accountable for the things they say and do, especially when the camera is rolling. There's a level of responsibility that comes with having a platform. Nova refuses to carry that weight. He acts out on camera, throws tantrums, says deeply problematic things, and laughs it all off. But what he doesn't see, or maybe chooses to ignore, is the kind of influence he's leaving behind. There are kids watching him. Kids who look up to social media figures like him because they don't know better. And when someone with a huge following says things that are inappropriate or aggressive, it doesn't just stay on the screen. It trickles down. Kids mimic that behavior. They begin thinking it's cool or funny, or that it's okay to speak that way. That being rude, careless, or toxic is some kind of personality trait. Today's kids are practically raised on screens. They wake up to YouTube, scroll through TikTok during lunch, and fall asleep watching Instagram lives. Their devices are more than entertainment. They're lifelines. So naturally, the people they follow begin shaping their identities. The biggest issue? They can't always tell what's right and what's wrong. Their brains are still developing. They're emotionally impulsive and highly impressionable. They might not understand that the person they're watching is problematic. What they see is someone confident, bold, and unapologetic. And in their young minds, that's something to admire. From the way they start talking to how they behave in school or at home, it all adds up. Verbal disrespect, lack of empathy, these things are learned silently through the screen. And that's how they slowly get trapped in a toxic loop. The worst part? They won't even realize it until it's too late. But hey, let's not generalize. Not all influencers are toxic. There are many creators out there doing real, meaningful work. Influencers promote body positivity, teaching us that every shape and size deserves love and respect. People breaking barriers of color, gender, religion, and caste. Mental health advocates, sharing their personal stories about anxiety, depression, trauma, and healing. Many even provide free mental health check-ins, talk therapy, and links to professional help. Creators encourage self-growth, discipline, and business building, who motivate their followers to read, learn, grow, and create something of their own. These people are gems in the digital world, but sadly they're often overshadowed by loud, chaotic personalities who do anything for views. Social media is a vast ocean. It has waves of good and storms of bad. And you are the fisherman. You have the power to decide what you catch and what you throw back, what you let inside your mind, and what you keep far away from your family. But when it comes to children, they don't always get that choice. Their minds are still learning, their hearts are still soft, and their eyes are still wide open to everything they see. So here's what you can do. 1. Stay aware. Know what your child is watching. Talk to them about what they see online. Be open, be honest, and most importantly, be present. Don't let social media become the only voice in their life. 2nd, report the toxic influencers. If you see someone misusing their platform, spreading hate, or setting a bad example, report it, block it, call it out. Because sometimes silence is also part of the problem. This isn't just about Nova. This is about every content creator who forgets that behind every screen is a person, and often a very young one. The internet should be a place of learning, inspiration, and creativity, not a circus of chaos and toxicity. Coming back to Nova's online presence and so-called earnings, well, to put it bluntly, he earns practically nothing from it. Being an influencer today isn't just about showing up on camera and rambling nonsense. It's a full-time job that demands proper understanding of algorithms, audience relatability, demographics, and performance analytics. A true content creator studies their audience, watches trends, adapts quickly, and consistently delivers what their viewers crave. These days, the most consumed form of content is infotainment, a perfect blend of entertainment and information. People want to learn something, but they also want to be engaged, emotionally invested, or at least entertained while doing it. And if you're only entertaining, it better be impactful enough to leave a lasting message. Viewers today have higher expectations, shorter attention spans, and zero tolerance for low-effort, mindless uploads. Content creation is no longer a casual hobby. It's a science, a craft, and a competitive field. And it doesn't end at making videos. There's brand building, personal PR, strategic collaborations, paid campaigns, merchandising, and cross-platform engagement. This is how most creators earn their bread. But when it comes to Nova, he never even gave it a real shot. Instead of creating something meaningful, he went down the easiest route, food reviews. He grabbed anything and everything available in the market and filmed himself stuffing it down, often in the worst possible settings with zero presentation, bad lighting, annoying sound effects, and frankly, a nauseating attitude. One of his earliest reviews started with Taco Bell, and from there, it spiraled into a series of poorly filmed, widely hated food videos. The internet made it clear they were not buying what he was serving. There was absolutely no sense of content strategy or financial planning, just chaos in front of a camera. Later, in a desperate attempt to monetize his fame, Nova tried selling random items like bracelets and water bottles on his platform. And while it might sound like a baby step toward building a brand, it wasn't. These weren't paid collaborations, nor were they sponsored campaigns. The truth is, no brand wanted to associate with him. Why would they? Nova Online had already earned himself a reputation as one of the most hated figures on the internet. In the world of digital marketing, reputation is everything. Even brands offering free PR goodies didn't consider sending products his way. They knew it wouldn't be worth the exposure. He had no influence, no credibility, and no engagement. Just noise. And let's be honest. What do bracelets and water bottles even fetch you? A few bucks, if anything? You can't even afford a one-time meal with that kind of return. Especially not the kind of meals Nova loves, to flex in his now cringeworthy content. It's a clear case of trying to run a business with no business sense. To make things worse, the controversies surrounding him, especially the ones involving inappropriate interactions with minors, were not just a personal downfall. They were also used, whether intentionally or not, as publicity stunts in the hopes of grabbing attention. But instead of helping, they backfired massively. The internet remembers, and it does not forgive easily. So while Nova may have tried to dip his toes into e-commerce and content monetization, The truth is, none of it ever took off. Why? Because you can't build a career on controversy, chaos, and carelessness. Let's now take a look at how those brilliant product launches actually went down.
Tori placed a Nova Cord paracord order. Let's ship it out. You ordered 2 bracelets, two-tone bracelets. You ordered a blue and beige, which honestly, I really like this one. And you also ordered a hot pink and beige. This one is definitely the best looking one.
And that is exactly why no big brand ever hands over their products to Nova for promotions. His entire brand collaboration portfolio consists of just some cheap bracelets and water bottles, and even those seem like last-minute clearance items rather than actual merchandise. There's nothing wrong with what he's trying to sell, but how he's selling it? Now that's the real issue. The presentation is just sickening. Not in the modern slang way. It's genuinely off-putting. From poorly edited promotional clips to awkward, unprofessional photos, nothing about it screams buy me. In fact, it screams the opposite. Avoid me. What's even funnier, he was so serious about this little venture that he went ahead and printed business cards for it. Business cards for plastic water bottles and some friendship-style bracelets? Honestly, it's hilarious. Like trying to sell lemonade on a deserted street and still printing a full billboard for it. There's a difference between ambition and delusion. And unfortunately, Nova seems to be operating deep in the second zone. No strategic branding, no visual appeal, no call to action. Just cringeworthy self-promotion that looks like it belongs in a high school group project gone wrong. Let's face it, nobody's ordering those products and nobody's liking those videos. The audience isn't dumb. They can see right through the desperation. If you can't package your product in a way that connects with people, entertains them, or at least looks professional, it's not going to work. And in Nova's case, nothing about it ever looked remotely like a real business. But how could Nova even focus on his career? He had stuff for some nonsense things, like interest in minors. Making them feel insecure and awkward was and is his hobby. Here's a video of a few people and their opinions about Nova online.
I am losing my mind over Nova Online. Who in the is this person? Also, if you don't know who Pamper Chew is, please go look him up. It definitely reflects it. So this degenerate got brought to my attention because my For You page decided to show me that this is like his 3rd or 4th Discord server that's got shut down for talking to minors. But it's not just talking to minors. The twinkle twinkle little star video and all that, I feel weird wearing a star nose ring now. I genuinely do not understand what brings a person to this level of depravity.
And the caption to this video says, "Diapers are for babies, and prison is for you, Nova." And this one will leave you with chills.
How old are you?
I'm 4 years old.
You are the youngest person ever. You are the youngest person ever.
And this one will leave you in laughter.
Why is Nova following me on his second account? He's only following 2 people on that account. His main account and me. I have so many questions here that are not going to get answered. All I'm going to say is, Nova, I'm not going to date you. It's not you, it's me. I have standards. Although I love men with long hair, I also like men that shower every day.
So this girl in the video is saying that Nova follows her from a separate account. An account where he follows absolutely no one else but her. In any other situation, any girl would probably feel incredibly special. I mean, imagine a guy creating an account just to follow you and talk to you. That's the kind of thing that, on paper, feels like a sweet gesture, something that might even make someone blush a little. But, and this is a big... We're not talking about just anyone. We're talking about Nova. And when he does something like that, it's not romantic, it's creepy, it's calculated, it's uncomfortable. Thankfully, the girl in the video didn't fall for it. In fact, she clapped back. And how? She gave him a solid reality check. Left, right, and center. She didn't hold back at all. She even went ahead and called him a man-child, which, let's be honest, is painfully accurate. Even grown men watching would probably nod in agreement. Because let's face it, no girl wants to date, talk to, or even be associated with someone who has such questionable standards, twisted fantasies, and zero moral compass. At the very least, what people expect from a grown adult is some basic hygiene. A one-time shower. That's it. That's the bar. But Nova can't even meet that. Instead of taking a bath, he seems far too busy taking minors on emotional roller coasters and leaving behind a trail of trauma. It's not just disappointing. It's deeply disturbing. Here's another video of a girl explaining what happened with her when she used to study with Nova at the same school long back.
I went to middle school with him. I was in the select choir. It was an all-girls choir. You had to audition for it. It was only for the 8th graders. And he was not happy that he wasn't in it. So he made his own choir outside of school and invited a whole bunch of girls that were in the select choir and the regular, like, extracurricular choir. He invited a whole bunch of us over to his house. And he was very, very mad at me for not going. So I was there in class, and he comes up and he asks, like, 5 or 6 of us to go up to the front of the class with him, and we're like, okay. This dude proceeds to sing Love Me Like You Do by Elle Goulding and basically Magic Mike, like, lap dance that. And our teacher had to stop it because we were all uncomfortable. We all were just sitting there like.
Did she just say that Nova asked 4 girls to come ahead in the class and he sang a love song to them, giving a lap dance? Whoa! The teacher must have been pissed off at him. And the girls, obviously very, very uncomfortable. Even if there was a boy sitting there, he would have felt very uncomfortable. It sounds very uncomfortable in itself. Crazy. Insane amount of vulgarity in his behavior from years and years. And then the girl continued with other story.
He was also really touchy, like, with girls. I cannot tell you a single girl that I went to middle school with that was not uncomfortable around him, because he was always like, feeling you some other way.
No, no, no. Who does that stuff in the school or anywhere? And why has he not changed after all these years? Touching and grabbing is literally asking if the girl is uncomfortable. So it looks like Nova's character was always shady and dirty. It actually sounds very, very traumatizing. Nobody would really want to be friends with him. And the comments read, "Honorable mention, he was banned from the adult store my sister used to work at." And another girl has come up with another story saying, "That's so weird, OMG, it's crazy that we all went to school with him. He was obsessed with me and Ari and always asked us to marry him." And Katsy replies with, "Yes, OMG, I remember that. Were you there for the Love Me Like You Do thing?" I can't remember, but I think I remember Ari being one of the girls he sang to. He went to my online school during high school and asked me to virtual prom, and I graduated standing right next to him. And as a boy mimicking his food reviews.
Hey Nova Cadre, today we're going to be trying the Seder Bros salsa. First impressions are decent. It looks pretty goopy, kind of like the sits I take in my diaper.
So, as we can clearly see, Nova has created a serious and dangerous wave online, one that's being followed by thousands. Whether people watch him out of curiosity, hate, or just to laugh, the harsh reality is that he's pulling in millions of views on nearly every single video. And what's truly alarming is that the numbers don't drop. Because just when people think Nova Online, aka Gabriel Gage, has finally reached his peak, he goes and peaks the peak. And now comes the climax of the chaos he's been building. The peak of the Novine universe is this.
If you want to really see my feet, I'm launching an OF soon.
Yes, you heard that right. Nova has officially declared that he's starting an OnlyFans account. We all know what OnlyFans is widely known for. Despite being a platform meant for creators of all kinds, it's now overwhelmingly associated with content, nudity, private chats, and adult entertainment. It has become one of the most controversial and problematic spaces on the internet. And now, Nova has decided that this is his next move. And that is deeply concerning. Let's just take a second to sum up Nova's online journey. He started with gaming videos on YouTube, but lacked the intelligence, originality, or consistency to grow an audience. He jumped over to TikTok, trying out shorter video formats. Even then, no one took him seriously. And on the rare occasion that someone offered him a real job or a platform, he was either fired or thrown out in a matter of days. Then came his attempt at trendy content. He sang, danced, copied trends, until finally, one accidental outburst about a server crashing went viral.
Oh no, not the server! The server got nuked! The server! No! I wanna die, I swear to God! And there goes the server.
That rage clip gained him attention, and he's been chasing that fleeting moment of viral fame ever since. From trying to sell bracelets, water bottles, to now selling himself on OnlyFans, Nova has gone from irrelevant to controversial, to now just plain unsafe. Let's talk about why this is not just embarrassing, but dangerous, for himself and for others. Emotional and psychological damage from platforms like OnlyFans. People often assume OnlyFans is an easy source of income, but what's rarely spoken about are the mental and emotional consequences of engaging in such spaces. Over time, it leads to severe body image issues, stemming from constant comparison, objectification, and unrealistic beauty standards. Addiction to validation. Every like, every subscriber becomes a hit of dopamine. You start relying on strangers to tell you you're worth something. Emotional burnout, because constantly creating provocative or shocking content leaves no space for genuine rest or healing. Increased anxiety and isolation, as people start seeing you only as content, not as a person. You start selling parts of yourself, and when those parts are no longer interesting, the audience disappears, and you're left with nothing but shame, confusion, and mental exhaustion. So even if Nova managed to make some money out of this, the damage to his mind and soul will far outweigh the paycheck. Now, who do you think we should blame here in this situation? Nova for doing all this, but he is mentally ill. Let's start with the top. His parents. If only Nova's parents had shown a little more sensibility while raising him, he might have turned out to be a better person. If not extraordinary, then at least a functioning, respectful adult. Bad parenting doesn't always show up as shouting or pressuring kids into perfect grades or achievements that society applauds. Sometimes bad parenting is simply not being present enough, and sometimes it's worse. It's noticing your child's spiral and still choosing silence over confrontation. Today, in our fast-moving digital world, parents are often so consumed by their own routines, careers, and digital lives that they forget their children need time, attention, and understanding just as much as they need food and shelter. Having a child is not a minor milestone, it's a life-altering responsibility. And if you can't handle that, you don't get to complain about the consequences later, because those consequences don't just stay within four walls, they spill onto society, onto the internet, onto other people's lives. Raising a child is like nurturing a plant. A plant doesn't just need water and sunlight, it needs healthy soil to anchor its roots. If the soil is loose, the plant will sway, struggle, and eventually collapse. On the other hand, overwatering a plant can rot it from the inside out. And that's exactly what happens when you smother a child with praise, excuses, and zero boundaries. They grow up entitled, directionless, and emotionally unstable. They stop understanding the concept of effort, of respect, of consequences. Good parenting is about striking the right balance. It's about giving your child the space to grow independently, develop their own thoughts and opinions, and stand on their own when the time is right. It also means holding them accountable when they cross the line, teaching them the consequences of their actions, not sweeping everything under the rug in the name of love. If you constantly celebrate everything your child does without questioning right from wrong, you're not nurturing self-esteem. You're breeding arrogance. You're creating an adult who refuses to listen, refuses to grow, and worse, refuses to respect others. And that's where Nova Online, aka Gabriel Gage, comes in. He is what happens when that balance is completely missing. Nova's behavior on the internet is far from entertaining. It's unsettling. His manner of speaking to the camera is erratic. He often shifts from quiet, uncomfortable stares to abrupt emotional outbursts, diving into anxiety-fueled rants and depressive monologues. Sometimes he talks about needing someone to care for him, even changes diapers, things no adult should randomly scream into the void of the internet. His tone jumps unpredictably from sadness to aggression to self-pity, with zero filter, all while maintaining the illusion that this is normal or acceptable content.
I tell you, I had two of the weirdest obsessions in the world.
But it's not. There is nothing relatable about turning your unresolved trauma into performance art. There is nothing funny about using mental illness as a brand strategy. The most troubling part is that he's doing all of this publicly, with millions of viewers, including young, impressionable audiences watching his every move. He's not just embarrassing himself, he's potentially harming those who don't understand the depth of what they're witnessing. Emotional instability, untreated trauma, and boundaryless self-expression don't belong on a public platform without caution or accountability. And here's the hard truth. This didn't start yesterday. Nova's present condition is a culmination of years of unchecked behavior, lack of guidance, and an environment that clearly never taught him where the line is. When a child grows up without discipline and without direction, the world eventually becomes their playground, and everyone else becomes collateral damage. His parents may not have screamed, but they clearly failed in the areas that mattered most. They didn't step in when he needed a reality check. They didn't help him learn empathy or restraint. They didn't teach him how to coexist in a world that doesn't revolve around his emotions. This is a wake-up call, not just about Nova, but about the long-term impact of absence disguised as freedom and overindulgence disguised as love. This is not a case of a quirky influencer gone rogue. This is the crash landing of a neglected boy who was never taught how to land at all. People have started feeling visibly uncomfortable around Nova in public spaces. Usually, when an influencer walks by, there's a sense of excitement in the air. People light up, they rush for selfies, ask for autographs, maybe even strike up a quick conversation about their content. That's the usual fan moment. But with someone like Nova online, the energy is completely different. Instead of admiration, there's tension. Instead of smiles, there are sideways glances and awkward silences. Even though many people know him, some even follow him out of curiosity, they also know what he's allegedly been doing behind the scenes. His disturbing interactions with minors on Discord are not some hidden secret anymore. They're a quiet, looming concern. So, when people spot him in public, there are only two reactions. Either they feel uncomfortable and uneasy, or they simply couldn't care less. There's no awe, no respect, no sense of stardom, just avoidance. And here's an example that captures that shift perfectly. Someone quite literally made fun of him by filming a video, or perhaps giving an interview, with Nova awkwardly standing in the background. Not as a guest, not as a star, but as an unintended prop in someone else's joke. That's how far the fall has gone, from wanting to be the main character to becoming the punchline. And people have also come up with some weird edits of Nova falling for minors. And here is another video by a random girl about Nova online and his Discord chats.
Ew! Every day I'm forced to learn something new about it, but I don't want to!
Here's a Discord chat of Nova online with someone named Program Dash. Yeah, taken out of context, how you wanted to sleep in VC with a 14-year-old? Asked a 14-year-old how often she... To which Nova online has replied with, they were being towards me. And then the program questions back with, and you was being it back? To which Nova online has replied with, they did it more. The ongoing concerns. Surrounding Nova online, Gabriel Gage. A call for awareness and accountability. There is an alarming pattern of behavior surrounding Gabriel Gage, better known on social media as Nova Online, that must be brought to light. Not to defame, but to inform, protect, and encourage responsible digital conduct. One of the most disturbing revelations involves conversations between Nova and minors. In one incident, a user named Program directly questioned Nova about being with a 14-year-old. Nova's response, that the minor was being more towards him, is deeply troubling. It is crucial to understand that minors cannot consent to such interactions. The responsibility always lies with the adult. Legally and ethically, this behavior clearly falls into predatory territory. What's often described as involves an adult creating a relationship with someone younger in order to gain influence or control. It usually starts subtly and can escalate into deeply harmful situations. And no matter how the interaction begins, the responsibility always rests with the adult. Over time, more young women, including some who reportedly knew Nova from school, have come forward with accounts of feeling uncomfortable, unsafe, or manipulated during their interactions with him. While these stories are important, they represent only the visible part of a larger issue. Many victims do not come forward due to shame, fear, or trauma, and perhaps even more concerning are the cases where minors may not realize they are being, or worse, may begin to normalize the behavior as part of their developing sense of in relationships. This creates a dangerous environment. Teenagers, especially those navigating emotional vulnerabilities, are highly impressionable. Exposure to inappropriate adult behavior online can lead to lasting psychological damage, ranging from trust issues and depression to unhealthy future relationships and identity struggles. Adding to the concern is Nova's activity on platforms like Discord, where private chats can create opportunities for unmonitored interactions. Reports suggest that some of these connections may have been extended through content-sharing platforms, including subscription-based sites. While those sites prohibit younger users by policy, Critics have raised concerns that some creators use mainstream social media and messaging apps to direct audiences toward more suggestive material, whether intentionally or indirectly. Using platforms like OnlyFans as an extension of communication with fans becomes even more troubling when those fans include minors. The emotional damage from being exposed to adult content or interactions at a young age is significant. It can lead to confusion about personal boundaries, distorted views on relationships, and long-term psychological impact. In light of these concerns, it is imperative that Nova Online be investigated thoroughly by appropriate legal authorities, banned from platforms that facilitate unmonitored interactions with minors, especially Discord, and placed under digital observation to prevent further harm. This is not just about holding one individual accountable. It is about protecting vulnerable users online, educating communities about behavior, and ensuring that our digital platforms are safe spaces for everyone, especially children and teens, because we cannot imagine our future generations destroying their lives. We want no more Novas in the world. Legal repercussions of engaging in interactions with minors. Interactions between adults and minors are not just morally wrong. They are criminal offenses with serious legal consequences. Across most jurisdictions globally, engaging in any form of suggestive conversation or interaction with a minor is considered exploitation. This includes texting, image sharing, and even suggestive role-playing with anyone under the age of legal consent, which typically ranges between 16 and 18 years depending on the region. One of the most dangerous tactics predators use is many countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and India, now have specific laws that criminalize even if no physical meeting ever takes place. The mere intent to coerce or influence a child into behavior even over the internet can lead to imprisonment, inclusion in a offender registry, heavy fines, and restrictions on internet use. Further platforms such as Discord, Instagram, YouTube, and OnlyFans legally require creators and users to comply with local child protection laws. If a creator is found guilty of breaching these laws, not only can their accounts be terminated, but the platforms themselves can initiate legal reporting or cooperate with law enforcement agencies during investigations. In situations where younger individuals are pressured into harmful choices, like sharing private material, engaging in dangerous behaviors, or developing distorted views about relationships, the adult responsible can face serious legal consequences. Depending on the severity, this may include charges related to endangerment, corruption of a minor, or even more severe offenses in extreme cases. This is why there must be no tolerance for individuals like Nova Online, who are repeatedly alleged to have blurred these lines. Regardless of whether his intentions were joking or misunderstood, when minors are involved, the law does not offer the benefit of doubt. Legal systems are designed to prioritize the safety and innocence of children, and anyone found tampering with that should face strict consequences to protect the public at large. Audience engagement and closing message. So what do you think about Nova Online? Do you really believe he is adding value to our online world, or is he slowly poisoning it with his inappropriate behavior and twisted influence over young minds? Ask yourself if we really want to continue giving such individuals space views and followers when they actively exploit their platform and manipulate the youth. What would you do if you came across Nova in real life? Would you shake his hand or walk away? Would you question him about the things he has done? Or would you feel the need to protect those around you from him? More importantly, what actions do you believe the authorities should take? Should Nova be banned from social media for good? Should his access to platforms like Discord be permanently revoked? Should he be investigated thoroughly for every allegation and interaction with minors, especially the ones surfacing from his past schoolmates and current fanbase? These are not just opinions anymore. They are serious questions for the safety of our online communities. People like Nova Online are not just problematic influencers. They are a serious threat to impressionable minds. By normalizing disturbing behavior, joking about serious issues like mental health, and pushing boundaries with underage users, they are not just spreading bad influence. They are shaping a generation's view of what is acceptable and what is not.
You did so great!
Aww.
I love your singing voice.
Question, but how often do you masturbate? This is the motherfucking fourth my life, everything. I'm done. Thank you all so much for watching.
Nova, being an adult man, is obsessed with using diapers and pacifiers. His ex-hamster account, going by the name Heya Nova K3, confirms his weird fetishes for diapers, farting, and foot smelling. Long after his TikTok account was discovered on For You page, the internet investigators were quick to find a concerning detail. Nova liked to get involved with minors on both Discord and TikTok. It all started with Nova's own Discord server, Novine Universe, which was a seriously troubling platform for all the members involved, to say the least. He had come up with his own Discord server, likely because he needed a safe space to act out on his creepy kinks with minors. It is worth noting that Nova himself doesn't know how to run a Discord server, and for this very reason, he gave this responsibility to other people like Green. However, no one expected that the Discord server he created would end up exposing him. In September 2022, Nova's private Discord conversations were leaked online, where he openly admitted that he enjoyed wearing diapers as an adult man, earning him the title of a diaper degenerate. This diaper degenerate further crossed an even more disturbing line by asking a minor if she masturbated.
Question, but how often do you masturbate?
The situation shifted from odd to alarming when Nova straight up admitted that he was attracted to kids, but some of the sensible members knew how to deal with Nova. One of them responded by claiming that they had reached out to Nova's employer with this secret, but Nova didn't really care. People also contacted the church that Nova was going to. It didn't take long for the church to kick him out after his behavior was exposed. Someone spoke to the church administration through Facebook Messenger. However, the admin claimed that they had already contacted the authorities about Nova's disturbing behavior, but nothing good came out of it, and the matter died down. We have been talking to local authorities for weeks now. Thank you for your concern, and it is being handled with the police and our head of security. If you have evidence of something illegal, you should report it to local authorities as well. And it later came out that Nova actually liked to roleplay as a baby. He wanted a messy diaper and announced that he woke up wet in the middle of the night. What pushed this situation over the edge was the fact that he even shared his half-body picture wearing only a diaper. In other screenshots, Nova asked the group members if it was weird that he found himself comfortable in diapers. Is it weird I find myself more comfy in diapers? He even praised himself for wetting it, calling himself and others a baby. One screenshot also showed Nova talking about ordering Goodnight's diapers in the largest size available to fit his body. Do y'all think I can fit an XL Goodnight's as a waist size 38 to 40M? I ordered Goodnight's in the biggest size possible, but I'm a 38 to 40 waist size. Judging from the content Nova posts on his TikTok, it won't be wrong to say he has an ABDL kink. ABDL stands for Adult Baby Diaper Lover. People who have this kink or fetish like to wear diapers, suck on pacifiers, and use other infant items for comfort, regression, and often arousal. However, Nova hides his ABDL fetish behind a formal and safe term, age regression. He claims that he struggles with age regression, which often pushes him to act like a baby. Age regression is a shift in behavior. However, it doesn't have anything to do with kink or fetishes. It is more of a psychological phenomenon in which people tend to act like younger individuals, retaining thoughts and emotions characteristic of their youth.
But it's about the importance of having friends, even if you're 20 years older than your friend.
20 years older than your friend.
This is usually a response or coping mechanism for stress or trauma, or can be a self-soothing act. Nova tries to insist that his age regression was actually related to trauma response, but it was nothing more than a blatant lie. People shared a disturbing image of Nova in a Reddit snark page and dedicated to Nova's TikTok and Discord. In the image, Nova was standing across a collection of binkies. The picture looked normal, until people noticed a sticker covering Nova's leg area, and that one sticker made people curious about what was hidden behind it. The whole situation took a wild turn when someone came up with the uncensored version of the picture. The image showed Nova having a bulge in his pants, perhaps after looking at the baby stuff. This already proves why Nova used age regression as a disguise to hide his kink and his being a... Even then, Nova dared to say otherwise. In one of the Discord group chats, Nova admitted that he had an ABDL kink, and it was entirely legal. But what's not legal was his way of dealing with it. He tried to take full advantage of a Reddit group dedicated to age regressors and minors in it. Nova tried to get close to the minors who posted in the group for assistance. He allegedly had an account under the name Phenomenal11799, which constantly commented under the posts of minors. In one of such posts related to a caregiver, Nova was seen to be responding with, "DM me please." One other person, likely a minor, posted their picture, and as usual, Nova shamelessly asked them to DM him. Nova crossed all boundaries in his Discord server when he sent a disturbing message with ease. According to him, the police needed proof of his assaulting a kid before he could be arrested for being a... And then he went on to send another message, mentioning everyone in the server. He wanted everyone to gather evidence that proved that Nova was not a... While his friends and supporters attempted to defend him, but his critics and trolls quickly responded. TikTok accounts like Skulger and Liquid Nova 3 began reposting screenshots of Nova's own messages, spreading them widely across the platform. Once the screenshots circulated and the evidence gained traction, Nova completely lost control during a live stream. He badmouthed all the haters and accused them of defaming him. According to him, the screenshots were photoshopped by his critics.
This is trying to be fun, but all you want to do is falsely accuse them of crap they never did. Y'all are being legitimate assholes. Have you ever seen an episode of Darman? You would know to not be an asshole to people you don't know nothing about. Don't judge people before you get to know them. Proof my ass, it's all photoshopped. It's been proven.
His anger only grew more as he talked about his removal from the church after someone reported him. In the live stream, he yelled at the haters and showed the middle finger to them. People in the comments seemed to be entertained with his reactions, his demons coming out. Nova, stop, you are scaring me. To make everything more hilarious, Nova even came up with a multi-video series about him training against his haters. In these videos, he shadowboxed in front of the camera, sometimes even wearing a dress, pretending to fight imaginary enemies. The entire series came off as more bizarre than intimidating. One consistent pattern with Nova is his inability to handle criticism. He even flipped out at people who discussed his unemployment. People straight up called him jobless, and he responded by having a crash out. He yelled at the people, telling them that no one was hiring for any job, and the job market was trash at the moment.
Literally, you don't know how ass the job market is. No one wants to work. No one wants to hire in the first place.
However, critics pointed out that his unemployment wasn't new. For a long time, Nova has struggled to keep a job. He had applied to multiple entry-level jobs, but he failed every time.
If my VPN strategy does not work out, then it's game over for me unless I find a second job. I'm really struggling. Not even McDonald's wants to hire me. Nobody wants to. Don't crash out, Nova. Do not crash out on your last video.
His job applications included the positions of bakery assistant, restaurant cook, hotel housekeeper, and fast food worker. In the rare cases where he was hired, he reportedly lost the job shortly after.
Hell, after 5 months of being unemployed, your boy got a new job. Finally, the job search arc is over.
At the same time, his income generated through his YouTube channel named Novine Universe is close to nothing. He has around 7,000 subscribers on his channel and 730 videos posted, but he is barely able to generate any views on his videos. The highest number of views on his video is 103,000, which is a video game clip of Just Dance. While a few manage to reach a couple of thousand views, the majority barely cross a few hundred. And according to a website, his monthly earnings from the channel are less than $100, which cannot even provide him with basic necessities. His TikTok account, the Novine Universe, or Nova, MH Advocate, has pretty much the same story. MH stands for mental health, a label Nova appeared to adopt after facing heavy backlash for his behavior online. Many believe this was an attempt to rebrand himself as a mental health advocate to soften his public image after multiple controversies. But this rebrand wasn't just about appearances. He played smart by introducing mental health related bracelets on his page, selling them on eBay for $10 to $30 depending on customization. He named them Novacord Paracord, and many people bought them from him, but it never really worked as a flourishing business as he had thought. In fact, some people who bought his bracelets had some valid complaints. They shared their reviews and complaints during his live stream on YouTube. Despite this, he frequently purchases large amounts of items from Amazon, and sometimes as expensive as MetaQuest.
Hey YouTube, so I'm thinking about the 16th or the 17th I'm returning Beats Area videos to the channel. I got a MetaQuest 3S to replace my MetaQuest 2. It's gonna be frickin' epic, baby. Woo!
This spending habit is reflected in his living space. From the look of his videos, it is clear that Nova has a very bad hoarding habit, and his living room and kitchen are the best examples of it. Whenever he posts his videos from his living room, the background looks messy, dirty, and hoarded. Nova once even posted his mirror selfie, which he had taken in his bathroom, and it had all levels of serious nastiness. Piles of empty cardboard boxes are frequently visible, stacked up for what seems like weeks or even months, and he barely makes time to clean up the trash and mess he creates daily.
This is part 5 to the house cleaning saga. This whole counter, oops, my circle cartridges were in the way. But this counter, at least the big part of it, is done. I still gotta do this little part by my old Keurig.
This messy room fits with how his online work has gone. Throughout his time on the internet, Nova has tried many different content creation niches like gaming and even karaoke. His oldest videos date back to the year 2020, when he started posting video game clips of League of Legends, Onigiri, and Just Dance. His videos rarely got around 1,000 views, and most of them got under 500 views. And after getting nothing in return for the gaming videos, Nova turned to doing low-effort food reviews. He would try out loads of junk food in front of the camera and often post similar style videos again and again. And whenever he ran out of content ideas, he would straight up copy other creators' content ideas. In one of the food reviews he posted on his YouTube channel, he wrote a caption, "Trying a grilled chicken parm sandwich. I need a job. Please contact if you have an opening." While his review of the sandwich was nothing good, his caption made it way worse.
Trying the chicken parm sandwich from Capriati's Sandwich Shop. Once again, I'm desperately looking for a job, so if you're a manager in the Spokane Valley, the Coeur d'Alene area, actually hiring, no fake job offers, just please hit me up on my email, please. I'm begging for a job at this point.
The people in the comments said, "The fact you think this is actually how you're going to get a job is just sad. Get offline for a while, it would do you a world of good. How will he get to talk to children if he can't be online? If you want a job so bad, don't talk to kids." Even though these food reviews didn't get him much attention, Nova kept posting more of them, bland, low quality, and seemingly ignoring what others thought.
Yeah, I've tried Feastable's sea salt and the original Feastable, so I'm excited to see how these nuts pair up.
As if that weren't bad enough, Nova's poor hygiene somehow turned everything into a full-blown disaster. His greasy hair and dirty clothes, coupled with messy surroundings, served as a cherry on top for the whole situation. As ridiculous as it all seems, this pattern didn't just magically appear. The roots of Nova's behavior go much further back. Nova's original name is Gabriel Michael Lee Scrivener Gage, who was born on June 8, 2004, which makes him 21 years old. According to the sources, Nova has a mother, Kiri Gage, a stepfather, Thomas Scrivener Gage, and an uncle, Andrew Scrivener Gage. Nova is very well known for his meltdowns on his TikTok lives, acting like an infant and speaking to minors. Unfortunately, the latter is a behavior that has become a part of his identity, but many recognized him from one of his popular videos. That video was his Wingstop food review, posted in mid-September 2022.
Trying Wingstop for the first time. Cajun seasoned fries. Okay. Mildly spicy, but nothing that I can't bear. These are actually pretty decent. 8 out of 10.
Like his other reviews, it wasn't any good, but it drew a lot of comments on his appearance, and led people to follow him just to troll him. That year, Nova's TikTok account grew quickly, eventually reaching 309,000 followers and 11.6 million likes. However, there was one more moment that truly made Nova famous, or rather turned him into a meme. In 2022, a clip surfaced of him working at a restaurant as a prep cook. KRM2 News was covering a minimum wage report in Idaho and filmed the restaurant White House Grill, where Nova worked. While filming the restaurant kitchen premises, Nova was also seen working and shouting, "Can I get a French onion soup, please?"
Can I get a French onion soup, please?
This one catchphrase became the turning point in Nova's life. People began using this one phrase repeatedly to tease and mock Nova. Even under this YouTube video of Creme, 2 News posted on February 15th, 2023, almost every other person was talking about French onion soup in Nova. The news channel must be thinking like, man, people really like French onion soup. I want his French onion soup. Can I get a French onion though, Pleth? Some of them even commented about his predatory behavior with minors and suggested that his workplace should know about his reality. I sure hope he doesn't talk to kids. Imagine Nova's rage if we bombarded the restaurant with calls and emails about him being a that wears diapers and he was fired. However, upon contacting the restaurant, people got to know that Nova had already left the job, likely after this one clip went viral and people started recognizing him for who he was. Called the place asking for Gabriel Gage, his real name, and they said he don't work there no more. But Nova isn't only popular across the internet. Ever since he became viral after his food reviews, the people in his town also began targeting him, and not in a positive way. These locals behaved much like internet trolls. They have been sending him not 1, not 2, but dozens of bottles of milk to his house in Spokane. This was revealed in a video recorded by the DoorDash delivery guy who delivered these bottles to his house.
This event would actually be recorded by the DoorDasher who took part in the order, obviously knowing Nova and posting just what they had done for work to their own TikTok, and that video would get hundreds of thousands of.
However, Nova himself never mentioned receiving a ridiculous quantity of milk directly at his house, and it's possible the milk spoiled before he even realized it had been delivered. Now, sending milk to his house as a joke can mean only one thing. Nova liked to pose himself as a baby, wearing diapers, sucking on pacifiers, and calling himself a baby. And he even acts like a baby or a toddler who constantly throws tantrums for no obvious reasons when he does live streams on TikTok.
I've been trying to get a fucking real job, but no one wants to fucking hire me! Now, if you don't want me calling you all the R word, I suggest you stop.
Nova's live streams are often short, bizarre, and pointless. Sometimes he calls it quits after a minute, struggling with lots of technical faults and complaints that no one can resolve. Worse than that, Nova often lashes out at viewers who criticize him. Instead of taking advice calmly, he snaps at them or bans them outright, as if no one is allowed to question him.
Okay, and Frank, you are making everybody, including me, very uncomfortable. I'm sorry, but I have to ban you.
Alright,
Sometimes he would even go ballistic and turn the comments off on his live stream because apparently he is better than his viewers. The background of this video, his bedroom, portrays his real-life mess, piles of trash and stacks of empty boxes. And for obvious reasons, when there is trash in an unhygienic environment, it only makes pests like bedbugs feel right at home. That's exactly what happened with Nova. It is largely speculated that Nova has an insane amount of bedbugs at his house, and that one of them eventually started crawling over him. This was seen in one of the videos Nova posted on his TikTok. In the video, he seemed to be listing down guys' names, and as he did so, a bug, likely a bed bug, crept out from his sleeve to his arm. However, Nova seemed to be totally unbothered by its presence. It was as if he had already given those bed bugs a pass to use his body as a walkway.
Tate, Jackson, and Aiden. If I missed any names, y'all unfortunately are last.
But speaking from a general point of view, anyone in their right mind and cautious state would feel something as small as hair on their arm. So it can be a possibility that Nova takes this as something normal because these bed bugs are always crawling all over him and his bed. Most people would immediately react to even something as small as a bug on their skin, but Nova seems to treat it as normal, likely because the bugs are always crawling over him and his bed. Just imagine the potential of him spreading these bugs to others he meets, or even to a workplace. It would be a disaster. And then there was a collage of Nova's arm pictures posted on Kiwi Farm's thread, showing loads of red marks or bumps all over his arms. It was partially believed that the bite marks came from bed bugs. Pictures on Google showed the bedbug bite marks to be light red bumps opposing to Nova's arms. However, it could be possible that Nova had been picking on them or scratching them, which later turned them into scabs. And when it comes to bad hygiene and constant unemployment, Nova has an unbeatable opponent, and that's Topiachu. Surprisingly enough, both of them have a lot to relate to that they end up speaking about each other in their videos and live streams.
And like I said, Nova, what do you want? Huggies or Pampers? You better answer quick.
At least, not like Tofupa, who sits on her lazy ass all day, probably collecting social security money like...
For context, 29-year-old Tofiachu is another big lolcow very well known for her homelessness, poor hygiene, and getting fired from Dunkin' Donuts for stinking badly. So, the similarity between Nova and Tofia is evident because both of them struggle with maintaining basic hygiene. But there is a small difference as well. Nova had a bedbug crawling over him, and Tofia had a cockroach crawling over her tumbler and walls.
Every time Rikachu has been spotted in the apartment,
Rochu makes an appearance. Me. But if you took accountability, then why are people coming at you? Because you never did.
The crossover started when Nova decided to drag Tofiachu through the mud for her racism against Mexicans and trannies. Trannies are people who dress like their opposite gender, or simply people who are transgender. Even though Nova and Tofiachu had become enemies after the crossover, the trolls exploited their situation to the fullest by shipping them together. Nova first made a video about Tofia on October 22nd, 2022, calling her out directly for her racism and claiming that God made us all equal.
Guys, Tofia is racist towards Mexicans, and she says horrible stuff about Asians. And Tofia, if you're watching this, I'm calling you out. This is not right. What you are doing is completely wrong, and everybody in this world should be equal. God said that all men are created equal.
Tofia responded by talking about Nova in her live streams. She straight up mentioned how Nova liked to follow minors on TikTok and Discord, his diaper wearing and binky sucking. To sum it all up, she let out the facts and truth about Nova.
You was on video call with a 14-year-old. You literally showed minors yourself wearing like a diaper, if we're going to be real, saying that that you enjoy wearing diapers. I mean, to each their own. You suck on a binky, you do age regression, which I get some people say that it's a trauma thing, but not for him.
And this video only triggered Nova more as he came up with a burn-it-all response that entirely destroyed Tofia. He made a video demonstrating a drink combination: Gatorade, Mountain Dew Baja Blast, Sprite, and one other drink.
Mama Chew and Brother Chew. A hint of racism and then saying it's not racist. A touch of framing shit on MG and I to cover up what she did. And a touch of this up here. Let's take a moment to admire that this looks exactly like swamp water.
As he mixed it all up and tried it, he ended up spitting it out in a spray and said it tasted like shit. It turned out that this drink combination was Tofia's favorite, especially the Mountain Dew, because she is often seen drinking it in her tumbler, and Nova kept coming up with different videos comparing himself with Tofia. According to him, he was better than Tofia because she, as an adult, was still living with her parents and had no job, while Nova, on the other hand, had a well-paid job as a prep chef at a restaurant.
But hey, at least I'm not a 28-year-old fat who still lives with their parents and has no job and barely does anything with their lives but do TikTok lives all day. At least I have a job where I work as a prep chef at a local restaurant, and I'm actually making decent money off of it, and at least I'm not lounging around doing Discord mod fat stuff all day.
Of course, this employment was short-lived, as Nova has long struggled to find and keep jobs.
I think I fell for it again. Victim to another fake job offer. Life. My god, I fell for it twice.
The Loco drama, which began in 2022, still goes on to this day. Both Nova and Tofia continue to share their rival bond, making call-out videos on and off, and their viewers are there for all of it. Tofia even once dragged Nova's Uncle Andrew into the whole drama, calling him a racist and claiming that he made a Facebook post about the Confederate flag. The Confederate flag is a flag that some people think shows white supremacy and slavery, often related to African Americans. According to Tofia, his uncle said that if someone is offended by the Confederate flag, he was offended by black guys wearing sagging pants.
You didn't drag anyone. You should be dragging your uncle who's racist and also transphobic, because I remember the post that your uncle posted during that I found out during Black History Month, where he said, if people are offended by this, which was the Confederate flag, then I'm offended by this, which was a picture of a bunch of young black men standing together with their pants sagging and saying that he's offended by that.
While this claim cannot be verified, it's clear that Andrew plays a significant role in Nova's online and offline life. Nova and his uncle share a tense relationship. Their sour relationship somewhat kicked off in March 2023 when Uncle Andrew got to find out about his behavior on Discord, as well as his diaper-wearing and binky-sucking habits. Yes, you heard that right. As people shared the damning evidence of him talking to minors, someone also sent information to his uncle. He got a LOLCAtuber in contact with my uncle. That moment triggered one of Nova's most emotional breakdowns yet. He uploaded a tearful video addressing his critics directly, especially the person who contacted his uncle, saying he needed to talk to them.
To whoever the F sent that video to my uncle, you should be ashamed of yourself. I literally just got through a mental breakdown, bawling my eyes out because of you. I hate to post this, but this needs to be addressed to whoever sent that. F you!
And for these very reasons, his uncle rightfully told him to stop using TikTok and restricted him from doing depraved things on the platform. In response, Nova was seen crashing out on his live streams multiple times, going off on about his uncle's interference. He would call him names and openly verbally abuse him in front of his viewers.
Motherfucker! Sucker! I'm with my uncle! I missed what my uncle said, and then he went on for a full rant! I'm done!
His viral Twinkle Twinkle Little Star video got his uncle going ballistic at him.
Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
You're so great.
Aww.
I love your singing voice.
But this wasn't everything. Uncle Drew's personal details had been doxed by Nova's trolls, which enraged Uncle Drew further. The cherry on top was how Nova had also been telling other people that his uncle was a transphobe, homophobic, and ableist. In short, he had berated in every possible way my uncle for being racist and homophobic. Is he a racist and homophobic? And even more, he's also a transphobe, an ableist, and wouldn't be surprised if he's a sexist. Uncle Drew sent several angry text messages to Nova and called him a little pervert. He also threatened Nova that he would do anything to teach him a lesson. The messages sent Nova over the edge. You a sick little pervert and your dad is spinning with disgust. Uncle Drew didn't stop at those messages. As Nova was bad-mouthing him online in front of thousands of viewers, Drew rightfully lashed out at him again in a voicemail. He once again threatened him, but this time Drew seemed to be a lot more outraged than before. You keep bad-mouthing me online to people that don't fucking know me and to talking shit about me. I'm going to send people to your house to kick you ass. You understand me? Nova ended up disclosing the situation to one of his friends and asked for advice. The person suggested that he talk to his mom about it. What happened, Nova? My uncle texted me saying he's gonna have someone kick my ass. What? Tell you, Mom? Nova quickly took the suggestion and reached out to his mother, complaining about it with frustration, and lashed out at his uncle, who was very much on the right side, by the way.
Mom, this is urgent. Fucking urgent. Andy just texted me again. Yes. His phone number got leaked, and now he's blaming. I'm fucking shaking.
Gabriel, you had nothing to do with.
He's gonna give me to do. I'm fucking scared.
Gabriel, she can't have you go to jail for his phone number somehow.
It was a pattern with Nova. Whenever his uncle called him out for his questioning behavior online, Nova would either lash out online or play the victim card by saying that he was struggling with mental health issues. Hey all, I'm sorry for slacking on the shower videos. My mental health has been the worst it's ever been in a long time, and I'm struggling to find motivation. The situation became gloomy when Nova shared shocking news on his TikTok in July 2025. It read, "Hey, all my uncle died, so I won't be posting today." Well, no one knew for sure if it was really Uncle Drew he was talking about, but a comment under the same post showed a small proof that it might be Uncle Drew. "I thought you hated him. Doesn't mean I don't love him still." This interaction somewhat proves that Nova was, in fact, talking about Uncle Drew. However, Nova himself deleted that post afterwards for unknown reasons. A website called Nova Online Wiki further confirmed that Uncle Andrew had actually passed away. And then there was a screenshot shared on Solidus Nova's X account. The screenshot was from a post shared by Uncle Drew's cousin, Sam Prizey, mourning the loss. It's not a nice thing to be waking up to this morning to find that your cousin has passed away. You finally reunited with your mum, Aunt Margaret Gage. This further confirmed that Nova's uncle had really passed away. Despite seeking comfort from his mother after his uncle had confronted him, Nova showed little gratitude. In a recorded live stream, Nova seemed to be arguing loudly with his mother in the background and even lashing out at her for something. At the same time, he carried on with his usual attention-seeking behavior. He even went as far as wearing girls' Sailor Moon dress and dancing to music, posting the videos on TikTok, often adding unfunny jokes that left viewers cringing rather than laughing.
Nova being so silly online.
Samsung more like Samsung more like ass-sung.
And this is where the real twist came. In April 2024, Nova's main account on TikTok by the name The Novine Universe was hacked by one of the serious enemies of Nova. And the first person who reported it was Pivo, a member of Kiwi Farms.
This is not a drill. This is not a fucking drill. This is not a fucking drill. My main account just got hacked. I am really working really hard to get it back. I am so under so much fucking stress right now. My main account just got hacked. I fell for a phishing scam in my email. It's just... fuck!
This person had recently joined Kiwi Farms on March 6, 2024, making the very first post about Nova's Discord getting locked and unlocked and being raided by a group called Chew Crew, which primarily focused on Tafia Chew. Nova has been locking down and then reopening his new Discord server repeatedly over the last 3 days. But it seems this latest one, April 4th, 2024, was a raid of sorts by a group called the Chew Crew. It turned out that Pivo was actually one of the major A logs, working against Nova and his TikTok account. Logs are the people who take things too seriously, while hating on a person that they would even resort to wishing physical harm on them. These logs were members of a Discord group named the Nova Files, or TNF, where they would sometimes share evidence supporting Nova's behavior and other times just straight up hack into his Discord, TikTok, and Kick accounts. It was suspected that either Pivo or one of the people from this TNF group, hacked Nova's account by sending Nova a suspicious link through email. To put it simply, Nova fell for a phishing scam and ended up giving access to his account to the hacker.
If you're seeing this video, you probably follow this account right here. That is my main account. As of a few hours ago, that account has unfortunately been hacked by a phishing scammer after I received this email.
And whoever hacked it completely changed the account's appearance. At first, the account's name was changed to Gabriel Gage, and the profile picture was changed to Nova sucking on a binky. The bio was replaced with the Nova files, providing a link to the server with Nova's screenshots and videos. The link was accompanied by text, linked to expose his Discord. But this wasn't all. The bio continued with, "At Novezagroomer, go to my Twitter." The person who was running his Discord account used the tag Razor or RazorGXD. While we don't know about the fate of Nova's other TikTok content, this Razor guy actually removed his pinned videos and replaced them with Nova's exposing videos. The whole situation left Nova with no place to hide. Seeing this happening in front of his eyes, Nova was left with no choice but to leave the internet entirely. But he soon made a comeback to the internet on April the 22nd, 2024. And a few days later, he even shared a video about how he had lost access to his main account and that he was proud of not giving up on himself for it.
That I've posted. I've gave them my UID, I've gave them all my shit, and they're still not giving it back. And despite all the shit that I've been through, I'm proud that I haven't ended it all yet.
He also said that he was in contact with the Trevor Project, a company that lets LGBTQ plus kids share their struggles associated with being gay with them.
Like, I've contacted the Trevor Project at least a few times since the account got hacked, because I'm dealing with a lot of other shit behind the scenes that I don't want to get into detail about.
While Nova was trying to stay active online through his backup account, Morhayak Novak 3, things continued to worsen behind the scenes. In May 2024, the person who had hacked his main account put it up for sale after draining all the creator funds from his account. This person, RazorGXD or RazorXSB, even advertised the account for sale on Nova's main account with the caption, "Serious buyers only." His account was later bought by an unknown person, who doesn't post anything at all. Since then, Nova had completely shifted himself to his alternate account from where he was posting updates, Morhayak Novak 3. Besides this, he also made a secondary account on TikTok by the name Nova2 Electric Boogaloo, but the trolls weren't done with him yet. In June 2024, the TNF group once again attacked Nova's accounts all across the internet. When they hacked into Nova's Discord server, one of them shared a disturbing message through Nova's account, making him look worse than before. The message claimed that Nova had so-called masters, naming Pivo, Omega, and Zilla, who were the members of the very group exposing him. My masters, M3GSA, Pivo. Zilla have told me that they won't gate my dirty little asshole tonight if I don't admit that I love kids, so this is my confession. As if that wasn't enough, the group also leaked screenshots of Nova's Discord conversations with minors and other users. However, one particular message from Nova proved that Nova was in fact a or might even be a potential rapist. What he said in the message will leave you in discomfort. God, I love kids. Like, I see a 12-year-old and I just want to poo-poo my diaper and them. Another leaked chat showed his conversation with someone as they seemed to be discussing the preparation before placing the call. In the messages, Nova shared the mandatory checklist with the other person, which included a plushie, a binky, and a blanket. He wanted to do it over call. Checklist for me. Blanky, Stuffy, Patsy. And this group didn't just stop here. An MTF transgender. Source. MTF stands for male to female. H3 Hexed entered the scene, who is a major Nova troll and also the owner of Nova Online Wiki. This wiki is filled with almost all the info about Nova's life. Hext found that Nova was collaborating with a microphone brand named Tonor. Nova had uploaded a YouTube video reviewing the mic from Tonor with the caption #TonorPartner. Hext wanted to know if Nova was really affiliated with Tonor and reached out to them through email. Tonor's response confirmed what Hexed was expecting. Nova wasn't partnered with Tonor in any way. So it turned out that Nova was actually lying about his partnership for unknown reasons. And Nova Online Wiki confirms that Nova, in fact, lies openly and shamelessly about getting fired from his jobs or that he had resigned to deflect the trolls. Because on one occasion, his troll Liquid Nova was able to find his workplace through the video he had posted on TikTok. Ironically, Nova had tried putting a sticker to hide his workplace's name, but he failed terribly. As if that wasn't bad enough, a Kiwi Farm member managed to find and share Nova's Jamster account on the thread, and it turned out to be way worse than what everyone expected. According to the screenshot of his profile, Nova is a homosexual male and wants to hang out with a transgender male couple. But the story somehow managed to take an even darker turn when law enforcement got involved. It was around May 28th, 2025. when someone alerted the police, reporting that Nova had held his nephew hostage at his house. Nova discussed this situation with one of his friends. The screenshots of their text messages were shared on a Reddit snark page. According to them, about 10 cops had arrived at his house, handcuffed him, and searched the entire house. Nova had also claimed that the experience had left him traumatized. They put me in handcuffs and the cruiser and everything. Then they searched the whole house, and after they found out that it was SWAT attempt, they decided to question me on who might have done this. And it turned out that it was a so-called prank by a troll who intentionally reported Nova to the police. After performing a check, the cops had excused and even asked about the troll who had falsely reported this. And Nova posted about it in shallow words that there was a scary situation that had happened in his life and wanted to take a break from TikTok. This screenshot was also shared on an X account by the name Solidus Nova. Solidus Nova, a troll, has gathered and shared every controversial thing about Nova on this account. When Solidus posted this screenshot on X, people in the comments of this post went crazy. The author had asked about what might have gone wrong for Nova, and the responses were brutal. Did his mom find the poop sock? Maybe. Uncle Drew got him, forced to shower, praying somebody caught him in a dark alleyway. While this one incident can be considered a wrong move from both trolls and police, what happened the day before to Nova was completely justified. Nova had made a new Discord server after losing the last one by the name Novacord Paracord. He had made it solely for his paracord business. But as fate had it, it was made to get nuked once again. Badly. It was an unlucky day, or perhaps even the month, for Nova to say the least.
Really take away from the fact that today has been one of the shittiest days of my life, so... yeah, today's been rough, but that shower helped me out a little bit.
Around May 27, 2025, Nova found himself in great trouble after getting into a car crash. According to Nova, it was the other driver's fault who drove into his car, leaving it a bit damaged from the front. Apart from that, there was no major damage to either car. And then, according to Nova, his mother hadn't received her Social Security check, which was needed to pay the household rent. He said she asked him to find the money somehow, or possibly pay it himself. This became an issue, considering Nova had long been struggling financially. With no other solution, Nova turned to his Discord server, openly begging for $900. He said to someone that he needs to give $900 to his mother, but he doesn't even have $100. Everyone's sorry to ping, but this is urgent. Novi needs $900 by tomorrow. But instead of getting that sorted out for himself, Nova ended up getting caught up in his actions. He was on a live stream on his YouTube channel when his Discord server got hacked and then nuked. The hackers spammed the entire server with Nova's shirtless photo and changed all the channel's names to Fat Get Hacked. The final blow came when Nova's live reaction was broadcast to his viewers. It was a boss-level emotional breakdown as if his life depended on that very server.
The server got nuked! Server! No! Fuck! 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 I wanna fucking... I swear to fucking God! And there goes the server. Seriously? Fuck me sideways! Not even 5 fucking days.
Despite having to see his downfall through the screenshots and expose videos, Nova dared to counterfeit not by proving himself innocent, but by bringing other creators down, who were mocked on the internet for their strange behaviors just like Nova himself. He came up with a podcast idea, naming it Hour of Joy, in which he would discuss locals like Daniel Larson, Chris Chan, and others. It was also inspired by the podcast Too High for Stupid, which was run by Smokey Max C and Kiwi Tapes. The podcast's goal was to discuss the lolcows in detail. Nova's plan was simple, at least in his own mind. By targeting other lolcows, he hoped to redirect the troll's attention away from himself and onto new targets. With that, Nova kicked off the podcast with the assistance of a 15-year-old social media manager, CX Jagar. That plan fell apart almost immediately. His podcast's first episode went fully flop. This episode was about Daniel Larson.
Up a poll on Spotify, and you guys voted for Daniel Larson's second jail arc, also known as the federal arrest. Just a note here on the Hour of Joy, we do not intend to bully or intentionally harm any of the subjects in this show.
For context, Daniel Larson is a famous TikToker and YouTuber, known for his weird online presence. And according to a tweet, Nova basically read all the info from the wiki as it is, without giving any of his personal views on it in the podcast. Let me save 45 minutes of y'all's time. Nova spent the first 20 minutes of this podcast reading the Daniel Larson wiki word for word, offering zero opinions on anything. And then his trolls were able to take it down by mass reporting it to YouTube. Nova broke the sad news on his TikTok page and claimed that he would get it back on YouTube. Hoj got taken down due to a mass report. Gotta appeal it. If it's not back up, the first episode will be re-uploaded to YT. To make his podcast sound more credible, more relevant, he considered changing its name to Lolcow Farms, KiwiCore, or The Vine Guy. And finally, he replaced the podcast's name with KiwiCore, with the release of episode 2 and 2.5, all about Daniel Larson and his phone calls.
Hey y'all, it's Hey Nova Kadri, and Hour of Joy is no more. Hour of Joy is now officially KiwiCore, where we delve deep into the inner core of lolcows.
After these 3 episodes, his entire podcast was discontinued, and Nova stopped posting about it altogether. It is unknown whether it was his trolls who pushed him to leave the KiwiCore altogether. But at this point, it was not just Discord groups or online wikis circling Nova. YouTube commentators like Smokey Maxi and Kiwi Tapes had joined in, effectively boxing him in from all sides.
See, we just want to do that with you, and you keep dipping out. Why can't we have a nice, fun moment with you? Why is it only 15-year-olds? Come on, where are you?
We can all be really cool friends.
I don't understand. We'll go over to
we'll go over to
TikToks,
now.
and we will just start assuming. We'll just start assuming things because
the same YouTubers who had started Too High for Stupid. This time it was Nova's turn to be judged and discussed and even exposed. Both creators decided to do a live stream together to further expose Nova. Nova's Discord server was reportedly marked as an NSFW space. Within the server, he and presumably other members shared explicit content about their fantasies. However, the group has loads of minors in it, especially the mods.
Nova talks with kids in Discord!
Sunday.
If anyone can hear this, take Discord away from him! He has a weird thing with diapers and age play.
One of such examples was revealed in this live stream. Kiwi and Smokey went through the leaked messages about someone called Discord Bunny, who is a transgender person. What the screenshot showed left everyone in disgust and at the same concerned. It was the Nova's Discord server filled with minors. But this person, Discord Bunny, didn't care, and neither did Nova. This person proceeded to put their dildo collection on display for the minors in the server. Bun keeps showing cocks in VC and the VCS got deleted. The screenshots showed the members reporting how Bunny was sharing stuff in the server. Yo, Mod's girl in here showing her dildos and OnlyFans just said that she likes kids. One of the members even threatened Nova that they would share everything with Smokey MCC and Kiwi Tapes because Nova wasn't supposed to run his server like this. I'm telling Kiwi and Smokey you're running your server like shit. The most absurd moment came when it was revealed that Discord Bunny was Nova's girlfriend. Someone in the Discord mentioned Nova with his GF in brackets. Bunny's GF is a freak though, BC. Tell me why PPL kept talking to them showing their dildos on stream. That being the case, Nova still found it hard to make his Discord 18+ and remove any under 18 people. Many believe this was intentional. The adult members of the group were often seen posting weird things in the server. One of them said, "I am busting," and others commented about tweaking. These messages turned the server into an unsafe and uneasy environment for younger users. Can someone change me? I'm busting! Spungussy got me tweaking. So a server like HOV, which is full of minors, is okay, but I'm not. But Nova didn't bat an eye at any of this until he noticed Kiwi Farms' thread about his Discord. The people had been leaking the screenshots of his server channels on Kiwi Farms. As soon as Nova became aware of the thread, he reportedly had a meltdown.
Maybe don't be a fucking fuck! You have not seen me fucking angry yet. Go ahead, Lemur, go ahead and fucking upload this. I don't give a flying fuck.
He sent a message displaying his severe meltdown directly mentioning the Kiwi Farms. Then he announced that he was about to lock down the server channels because several members didn't act right during voice chat. Hey Kiwi Farms, if you're reading this, fuck you and I hope you burn in the deepest pits on fucking hell. We are keeping the server on lockdown for a few days until all of you can learn how to fucking behave. Then the very next day, he made another announcement. He was finally making an 18+ server for only adults because he couldn't afford to be a headline news for another Kiwi Farms thread. Alright, so talks of the mods and I making a server for everyone 18+ are in the works. Unfortunately, this wasn't the only time Smokey MXC and Kiwi Tapes had covered Nova's situation. Both channels have been actively sharing detailed updates through YouTube videos on Nova, with hundreds of thousands of views. With his options exhausted, Nova defaulted to his usual coping mechanism, angry outbursts and calling his critics out by name. He would lash out in his Discord server and drag every other troll in his messages.
In the stream right now. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, that's what she said. Fuck you! Smokey's a fucktard. And I can say that because I'm autistic.
Things went awry on September 11, 2024. when Smokey MZC tweeted about Nova's favorite music band, TX2. According to Smokey, Nova had been talking trash about TX2 to his audience, calling him a racist and claiming that he had touched his breast. Nova claims that you allegedly made a joke about Indians and then smacked his boob. This needs to be addressed as soon as possible. Smokey also asked people to look out for TX2 during his livestream chat, protecting him from Nova if he acts like a predator. Be sure to keep an eye out and help him stay safe from Nova being a predator in his chat. Later that same month, Smokey MCC and Kiwi Tapies also got Nova on a livestream on TikTok with them during the same month. And that livestream didn't go really well for Nova. Due to a technical delay, Nova was hearing their audio late, while Smokey openly insulted him on stream, calling him a pudgy while Nova, completely unaware, smiled and waved at the camera.
Hey,
What's
Nova,
up,
you're
dude?
Nova, you're a pudgy Nova, pudgy
The moment the audio caught up and he realized what had been said, Nova snapped. He quickly rage quit after showing a middle finger on the camera. And when he did so, Smokey and Kiwi laughed at him. By this point, September 2024 had clearly turned into a nightmare month for Nova. After Smokey and Kiwi, Nova's another troll and TNF group member, Pivo, found out about Nova's workplace. At the time, he worked at Subway, and Pivo thought it would be a great idea to get him fired, and he managed to do so successfully. On October 3rd, 2024, Nova announced that he had been fired from his job on his server. His messages made it clear that he was deeply frustrated with his situation, which had been created by his trolls. My life and my feelings. I lost my G job and I am so pissed off. And then 2 days later, the trolls once again raided his Discord server. This time they spammed the channels with animal gore videos, but Nova didn't care. Dude, you need a better mod team. Brother, dude, there's gore. Someone from the admins team responded, but Nova was still not there. Sorry about those gore posts and that it took a bit to get those taken down. Unfortunately, our mod team is a bit understaffed, because there was no way he could. Nova was busy live streaming Harry Potter on Kick, unaware of what chaos was happening behind his back. To this day, Nova continues to post his TikTok videos, but now with a giant watermark over them. Exclusive property of Novine Universe. All because he thinks people use his videos without giving him credit, or more likely without his consent. Nova, why is there a watermark? Because people are re-uploading my content without credit. And with that, we reach the end of this documentary. Even now, the true intentions of people like Nova remain questionable. Their behavior is unpredictable, and in situations involving vulnerable or underage individuals, that unpredictability becomes especially concerning.
Trolls tried to sign me up for Scientology bullshit. It's a cult. Here's what I gotta say to that. Never again.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more documentaries covering the internet's most infamous lolcows.